Melt at the river's edge, Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the University of Minnesota campus, Minneapolis. We're checking out some of these structures here. Look at this melted structure here. They say it was carved out. This vertical wall, right angle, multi-sectional structure on the river's edge with the cars on top. And they want us to think that that was carved out by Ice Age erratic floods. Okay, Ice Age floods. And this here is a structure. There's walls at the bottom right of my windshield that are fused together into one solid chunk of limestone, or solid chunks of limestone. Pebblecrete on the floor, that don't belong there, eh? Pebblecrete on the floor, and look at the structure. And we're gonna get closer to it, as close as I can. The ground was a lot looser here than I had expected, but that masonry don't belong right there, do it? No, who's dumping over here for what? That one little piece right there, eh? Why? So now this is a good place to take a pause if I can, right there. Oh, right there, right in the middle of the screen. This is very similar to possibly those drill marks we saw in the quarry, which is no more than a quarter mile around the corner here, maybe a half mile at the most. And that quarry was obviously the material from the quarry was used to line the drive, which comes along the riverfront into this area, and maybe from this quarry as well. Maybe from this quarried building as well. Now, there's something here I want to look at quickly with these bricks. We can see that they're bricks. We know this by now. And I want to take your attention to these mortar lines. Now, we see that the ones here on these bricks here match up with the fused block over here. This block here has been fused together, right? But now look at the mortar lines and how they match up right where they should in each row here. Now let's take a look at some of these rows. We have loose mortar between. Loose mortar between that one and this one too. Sandy loose mortar between, still present in between the mortar lines. And those are the mortar lines. You see here? They match up. And there is loose mortar between the limestone, the natural limestone, eh? And that's what we're talking about here, and that's what we look at. Continuing on. So sandy mortar is present. You can see here, look at the sandy mortar in between the fused mortar lines here of the bricks. This limestone is everywhere. We have seen this stuff with bricks hanging out of it. There's no question as to what this material is. And it's the most abundant, the most common masonry material that you'll find in the known realm. Look at the fracturing here. They likely did this when they were quarrying it, just completely obliterated this structure and completely smashed it up. So this is very steep right here. And I'm pointing this way because there is a tunnel, which we will look at shortly, with a big obelisk above it. A big obelisk on a huge old melted foundation of limestone now, which was brick. And we're going to look at that in a moment. We'll drive around there and look at that. So I'm going to look at the ground here, and we're going to see some bricks on the ground. No one's dumping random bricks down here for no reason. For what? We're off the road. You have to come up, and it's not easy to get up into this area where I was from the road. I had to climb over a melted wall and such. And there's bricks back here. So who's dumping these? And they got stamps on them. They're bricks. I couldn't read that one, but it has a stamp on it. You can see here. It's too melted and muffed to read it. And here we got more of these spherules. More of the spherules. And I think they're bricks. They are glassy. So they are very glassy. They sound like marbles. And I'm not sure why that is, but we do get many minerals being formed in the melt. So there's no question as to what it is. But it's melt. Just not sure exactly what the materials were. I'm guessing bricks because they're everywhere. And some of them have right angles on them like that. So I'm guessing that they're just shriveled up, melted brick. I thought they may have been glass or something like that, but they could be as well, a mixture. But, I mean, these buildings did have windows as well. And there are many loose stones here. I couldn't get any closer, really. I tried to, but it was, you can see the brick lines. You see what's going on here. We know this. We know the patterns. It's a multi-sectional structure. I'm up above at the highest level right now, at the floor level of the upper level. And that's the way that the tunnel is that way. We're going to find the tunnel that way with an obelisk above it. And it's a library, a part of a library for the U of M. Here we have the wall out front of that structure, and there's trees growing in onto the wall, which is now limestone, one piece. And that's the wall out in front on the drive, which they have redone lots of that wall with the quarried limestone with the straight lines there. You see the straight lines. Now we're going to take a peekaboo just on the way here. And here's more of these structures. And we're going to look at some of the stuff here and take a look at some entrances that go into that side of the river there in that huge structure. But here, first of all, look at this. There's an obelisk right here. And Panton, why don't you take it away from here? Extremely cooked out into limestone. Okay, and they are, and there's an obelisk on top here. Now, let's just take a little swing on this way. Let's see what's going on here. So there's a big obelisk up here, and it's the University of Minnesota campus. A library building. Now, all sorts of bridge action going on here. 10 of them. And the old campus just rising up like an old world city back here. All bricks. And then check this out. I thought it's going to open for me, eh? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So what's going on underground here? What's this? What's that there? You know? What's that there? Very old-looking towers here with fancy little points on top. Or vents. Just rising out of the ground. They seem a bit top-heavy. Yeah, right here at the grand entrance under the ground. So there's build-out under the ground that way as well. I did not know that. Well, I did, but I mean, this is the first clear example or entrance you found. This is the first entrance I found. So, and it's public, or not public, but you know, not really that hidden. Somewhat. It's a bit hidden back here, but all right. I'll show you a few more things. And I'm out here scouting, and next we're going to scout. The next part here, part 2, we will scout the other side of that river there. We will look from this side. We'll look over there, and I'll show you the openings that we see. And at Tonga, it's 16 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, and it was nipply. It was chilly out here, so way too nipply to be out here really booting in this stuff, but a good moment to scout. And we see all this vinage here and the leaves falling. That means bricks are exposed. When the leaves fall, the bricks are exposed, and the buildings and elements of buildings become, they make themselves known. And that's the time of year we have right now. And it's also the time of year for quote unquote caving. We have to think of a new name for that, eh? For caving. Because they're melted buildings, you know. But anywho, where we are here is only now where I just was in the beginning of this video on that huge steep land feature was just up here, pretty much around the corner there. That's where we were. Part 2 here. Sorry I lost you, but let me show you. Just in a span of like, I'd say 3 city blocks up there. That's the campus. Yes, so in the span of about 3 city blocks here, there are going to be about, like, say, 5 or 6 walkable entrances, not just culverts, walkable entryways for human beings, for men to walk through. That's what they're made for. And let's take a look here and scout them out, because this is where we'll be heading next soon, to be checking out these entryways and which ones are solid, which ones go through, which ones reach into tunnel systems, which they all should. And let's see what's happening there. Very, very extreme. And lots of ice was forming on the melt, coming down the melt, eh? Very beautiful, but that was down the way this way. But a bit of scouting here. Let's take a look. The Minnesota in Minneapolis. Got an old train truss bridge here. Very interesting. It's been redone, but the bridge is old. Yeah, new piers. And new bridge over here. But let me show you all these culverts and entryways. They're not all culverts. Not all of these are culverts. There are just entryways. Some are for boat traffic, or were for boat traffic, it seems, and some are not, and some are draining and such. But we can look quickly here. Now, if you can see way in the distance there's an entryway. Multi-sectional right structures. See that one? Right there. Multi-sectional structures. They're not carved out nothing from nothing, baby. These are brick buildings, and there's an entryway right there. Okay, now let's go over here. There's a few more over here. There's one right there. That's just a drain. There's one above it, though. Culvert. This here is an entryway. An arched entryway. You can walk through that one. And there's a tunnel system. Another drain at the bottom there. But look above it. Right above it there is another entrance. Another entrance right there. You come over here. There is another walkable entrance right over walkable one here. You can walk through it. And it will reach into a tunnel system. Yes, they will. Over here, I'm not sure if that was something that was for boat traffic that they've Yes, they have. That was clearly something for boat traffic, in my opinion. Upon going up closer to it on my way out of here, it was a lot bigger, and there was 3 more on the way downriver, just downriver. There were 2 more of these, or 3 in total, and they are very large up close, a lot bigger when you're up closer to them, and they do seem to have been for canal boats or maybe small steamboat traffic to go in onto the city, like we have over at the other side of the river in Minneapolis. I've showed you that area as well, over at the Riverfront Regional Park. So yeah, steamboats and boats seem to have gone under the city here as well. Redone or something, I'm not sure, but got that over there as well. So there's tons and tons of openings into these melted structures here on the riverfront at the U of M, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I love you all. Take care, everyone. See you soon.